What's up, Saab fans around the world? Welcome back to another video. Today is a pretty exciting video. So a couple of weeks ago I traveled to Trollhättan in Sweden, the home of Saab, and I wanted to show up in style. So before I went there I installed lowering springs on the car, the 21-inch wheels, the Hirsch body kit, the wing, the diffuser, and I rebuilt the exhaust. So from the axle back it's now 2.5 inch with 2 mufflers, and it turned out pretty good because the OEM mufflers is like enormous. And on the NG95, the Turbo 6 end mufflers is the only one with like super dampening in them. The car is built for like comfort and not to be loud, so we're changing that. So the cold start is pretty aggressive now as it is, but because there's a but also, but there's a lot of drone in this car right now, from like 1800 rpm, 2000, 2200 rpm, around 100 to 110 kilometers per hour. So exactly the speed limit on many roads in Sweden on the highways. So on the highways you got this like buzzing drone in the head that just destroys the head. So we are going to fix that today, hopefully. So there's something called a J-pipe that you install on the exhaust. It's not a resonator, but it acts to kill the hertz of the sound waves of the exhaust. So I have built like my own exhaust for a lot of cars, and I have never heard of this, and I have never tried to do like fix a drone of an exhaust before. So this is my first time, and I don't know if it will work, but I have seen some videos on it, and for those guys it have worked out really well. And we are going to build like the downpipe on this car as well, so we're going to add a lot more loud and flow to the exhaust. But as of right now we just have the rear, so I'm going to show you how that looks. So just to show you the basics of this, let's say that the engine is here and the exhaust goes out, and there you have the end tip. So the exhaust flows, and the J-pipe, it's called a J-pipe because usually it's shaped like a J. So in this case I happens to have one right here, just a bend, but it doesn't have to be bent, it could be a straight pipe. But the most important thing is that the piping is perpendicular to the exhaust, and that means that you need to go out at a 90-degree angle from the exhaust flow. So you cannot build it like, let's say it will go like this. So you will just weld it on and it will flow together with the flow of the exhaust gases. That's not right. So you need to, it could go backwards, it could go forwards as well, but this part is the important part, that you get somewhat a 90-degree angle. You could be on a little angle depending on how much room or space you have underneath the car. Usually you don't have a lot, so we are going to try to do this as good as possible. And there is calculations for this, for how long of a pipe you need. So the exhaust gases will always take the easiest way out. So this pipe that we are going to install is going to have a cap on it, so the exhaust gases will not go anywhere. It will just fill up the pipe, and it will act as like a resonator for the hertz or the sound waves in the exhaust. So this is kind of complicated, and I don't know the whole science behind this, but we will try and do a test and see if it works. If it doesn't, then we can scrap this idea, but it's all about trying out. So this is what my build looks like right here. So you have the stock exhaust, then it goes out to 2.5 inch with like a custom made 90 degree. It's not fully 90 degree but somewhat. And then a pretty small dampener. I can show you the stock one later as well, but it's kind of small. And the idea right here is I don't have a lot of space, but we're gonna build our J pipe. Is actually going to be a straight pipe, but it's going to go out from here and then sit up against the muffler. So it will be a pretty stealthy installment. And right now I know that the drone is cast back here. It's not underneath the car because I haven't touched anything. It's just the rear that I have touched. So the problem is of course here. So when you're installing a J pipe, the earlier on the exhaust you put the pipe, the more it will cancel the drone further back. So from where you install the J pipe and back, it will cancel the drone. So it's the best if you could mount it like at the downpipe, but usually you don't have that much space, and this is a 4-wheel drive car, so it interferes with the drive shaft and everything. So we are going to do it like this at least. Install it back here, and then we will go for a test drive and see if it works or not. So a lot of times this pipe has to be longer, but now we have a twin pipe, so we will have one at each side, and we will make it as long as possible, so it will go up against, almost up against the hanger and the diffuser. So hopefully it works. So this is the stock Turbo X muffler, and with this on you don't have any drone at all. Actually you don't have the best flow in the world either. That's why we are changing. But if you look at the design of this, the inlet of the exhaust gases is here and the outlet is here. So you can just imagine what happens inside of the muffler. Probably it's baffled like a couple of times. So the exhaust gases probably go in like here, then baffles and goes in again. So with this on, it's really quiet, and as I said, the flow isn't the best either. So this has to go. But let's build a J pipe and we will see how this car sounds. It should not change like the exhaust note. It will still be as loud as it was before, but without the drone, hopefully. this looks like. You can see it looks pretty insane. You get the muffler and then you just get a piping beside it. So I just welded it on. You can see it doesn't have any hangers or anything, but it just sits freely at a like 90-degree angle from the exhaust pipe and then just out. So I ran out of black heat paint, so I painted it in a midnight blue Saab color, but anything will do. So I will not get awarded for the best welds in history, but it will work. And what I will have is probably a good sounding exhaust with zero drone, hopefully. So we will get out now and test this and see what it sounds like. So you can see the angle is just straight out, so it will fill no function for the exhaust except reduce the drone, and hopefully we get pretty close to zero. So these pipes are like 50 centimeters long approximately. Maybe they need to be bigger or longer. And the thing then is that we could add like a bend and go back again. It doesn't have to go into the exhaust, it's just the volume that counts. So the longer the pipe, the bigger the range of the RPMs it will pick up in terms of drone. So if you have drone from 1500 RPM up to like 6000, you will need a pretty long piping. So I hope this will work. We got two of them and they are equal length. So yeah, no science at all behind this. It's just pure like do it and hope it works. So welcome inside of the cockpit of the Turbo 6. So now we're gonna take it for a little test drive and see if we fix the droning. So as of right now, with just the OEM mufflers in the back, as I said before, it's not super loud. It's not obnoxious at any way. So we're just gonna take it out for a little spin. And the big problem was around 2000 RPM. So we will see how that feels right now. I can tell already by doing this that it has made a difference. So the big difference will be while at speed, if it's a big difference. So we are going to do some more mods to the exhaust of this car and also doing a tune pretty soon. It's a lot of traffic, but here we go. actually a lot better. You might know why the steering wheel is shaking, and that's because of the brakes. They are pretty done, so I have new ones on order. They vibrate a lot when braking in, so it should be quite a common problem on the Turbo 6, or not just the Turbo 6, on many of the MG95 actually. Definitely a lot better, because before you got like this really annoying sound that you didn't really want to stay on the throttle because it was so annoying. So maybe a small adjustment could be that make a bend at the end and make the pipe a little bit longer, but this is totally fine. This is completely okay. This is something you can live with. It's not completely quiet, but it definitely took most of the drone away. So now all you hear is pretty much the sound. And the sound dampening in this car, where the spare wheel should be, is pretty flat and pretty empty, and that doesn't make the feeling of the drone better. So you could add a little bit of sound dampening in the trunk, because that would help a bit too. But rebuilding the exhaust would make the biggest difference, I would say. So try to get that little piping maybe a little bit longer, but as I said, this was really good for the car. Really, really nice. Before you could even hear on the idle that it wasn't perfect, so much better. But for my liking, I need a little bit more of that exhaust sound. So I need to up it a little bit, because the V6 engine, the 2.8 liter V6 engine of this car, could sound so raspy with the right exhaust setup on it. So this is the speed where the drone was the worst before, and now it's really, really manageable. I wouldn't say that this is drone, this is like exhaust sound to me. So 5 thumbs up. This was a really good mod. So that the exhaust sound increases a little bit when you put on the throttle. It's nothing unusual, that's the way a car should act. When you stay on a certain speed, you get that little droney feeling. That is not premium at all. That is something you don't want in a car like this. So taking it for longer rides, quite amazing what the piece of pipe could do. This was a really good modification. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel, it means a lot to me. And the modification turned out quite good. So it's a little effort but a big win. And it doesn't cost almost nothing. So definitely worth doing without having the headache when traveling long roads, especially with the family. So stay tuned to the channel, more exciting stuff is coming. I will see you in the next one. Bye!